Hey everybody, welcome to the last IT podcast in the world. I'm David Wheat from Alt CIO Consulting. He's Darrick Johnson. Hey Darrick.
Hey.
Got one banter topic and then a pretty interesting sort of cybersecurity, but more philosophy discussion. We're a little bit more about philosophy than we're other tech here on the pod.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm drinking Spindrift.
Very nice.
Not sponsored by Spindrift, but happy to be. Like if you want
Happy to be.
Yeah. Do you have a preferred bubbly, or do you not like the bubblies?
What's Topo Chico? It's pretty good for
Chico,
Texas. Okay. Yeah.
I think LaCroix is too bubbly.
And it's too not flavored. All the jokes about LaCroix is like someone whispered the word lime to 30 feet away from some sparkling water. Yeah.
Exactly. Spindrift has actual fruit juice in it. Yeah. Contact me if you're interested in sponsoring the pod, Spindrift. But here I am repping your product placement right here. All right, let's talk about the hats. You've got a new hat for me. It's got it's got like really cool blue little pattern and a gigantic cursive D on it.
Dodgers hat. So had a chance to go to California, and as a longtime Colorado resident fan, and Rockies fan, that was hard, but it was obviously where things are, and it was really fun to see Dodger Stadium and get a hat, and it kind of let me blend the difference between getting a Dodgers hat, which is cool, but it doesn't say LA on it. So
yeah, it's just obscure enough. I did not know it was a Dodgers hat because it must be some alternate thing. It doesn't have the LA that I'm used to.
I think it's part of their. I don't think this is designed, but the D logo is from their city connectors.
Yeah. So fun fact: Coors Field is the second oldest stadium now in the National League, if you can even believe it, because it feels like a new one. I believe the oldest one.
Yeah,
third oldest.
Coors, then Dodger, then Wrigley, because Wrigley's like 1908 or something crazy.
Got it. You're right.
But
is second. Yeah. Dodgers. Okay,
great. And it seems old, by the way. Like it's really cool, but it's pretty old. It smells old, like 80 years of garlic fries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fantastic. All right, and I'm wearing the Colorado license plate "Public Wi-Fi is Safe" hat. Because I'm against fundamentalism and people who don't think critically. And we're going to talk about that later. But first, in the banter, Darrick, there's been a lot of brouhaha, a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of hue and cry, a lot of Sturm and Drang, if I may, about the Cracker Barrel logo. It's mostly behind us now, but it filled up my LinkedIn and news feed for way too much. And let me tell you a little bit about me. I know you're the same way. Whenever I see sort of the flashbang grenade of a big explosion of social opinion on any platform, I think, what are they really trying to distract us from? What is it they don't? What is the shiny object they do want us to see, i.e. Cracker Barrel with their woke logo or whatever you think about it, versus like what's really the threat? And I think you and I have sussed out why they wanted us to focus on the Cracker Barrel logo so much, because there's a logo which in fact didn't change. It's just been hiding in plain sight, threatening all of our well-being just by its existence. And of course, I'm talking about, Darrick,
Sherwin-Williams.
The Sherwin-Williams paint logo. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is really something that you guys ought to be focusing on.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, let's just do the basic level. Describe the logo for people who are audio only and they can't remember it. Like, you want to take a run at that, or?
Yeah, so it's we've got a bucket of paint with SWP initials on it. We'll get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Pouring red paint, splashing over an image of the Earth.
Yeah.
Paint dripping off, and it says "Cover the Earth." So
I'm just going to read that back to you. There's a globe of the Earth, and above it, floating in space, about a quarter of the size of the Earth, is a paint bucket with SWP. It's just like flooding paint onto the Earth, so much that there are these, let's say, shall we, crimson drops of paint, even like dripping off the Earth onto, I guess, the gigantic drop cloth in space somewhere.
Yeah, a lot of implications about gravity and flat or globe shaped Earth. Maybe. There, I don't know.
And as you said, the red on the globe In the middle of the red paint, it says, cover the earth. Cover the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Cover the earth
Not
with red
accent the
paint.
earth like we would with paint, not, spruce up the earth, cover it.
Let's think about that. First of all, proper application of paint. Is there anything in this logo of a paint store which implies the correct way to apply paint to a surface?
No, we have no roller, no brush, no sprayer, nothing. We're just dumping buckets, which I can see as a provider of paint. You would probably promote that highly inefficient application method, but
Yeah, how about you just like throw the
why don't you
paint at
just
the
dump it
wall?
on? Yeah. Have you
Right? Or
tried
just
just
like
dumping
take
it?
just directions, take the lid off the can, stir well, or
Throw-
not, who cares? And then just
Yeah.
throw it at the surface that you want to, or just pour it over it.
Yeah. I mean,
Drown it.
how many gallons would you use, 1 gallon to paint an accent wall or like 7 to
Yeah.
just huck it
Yeah.
at the wall? So,
They prefer the Jackson Pollock version of. Do you know the artist Jackson Pollock?
yeah. Yeah.
He basically just threw paint at
Just show
canvases.
paint.
So first of all, problems with the logo, and these are the small ones. We're going to get to the most nefarious part
The
of this
real.
logo. So like improper paint technique, just pour it on. It's like
Mhm.
splitting. Number two,
Yeah.
that's bad. Number two, let's think about the ecological impacts of this logo, shall we?
Oh man, like global extinction event, right? Like
Mass extinction event. This is what
it
killed
looks
it.
like it looks like the entire northern hemisphere has drowned slash suffocated in paint at this point.
Yeah, maybe
And
Australia has been spared because they're
yeah,
not in the drip path.
yeah, yeah,
Typical.
again,
Yeah,
yeah.
the land down under gets spared.
Like, and New Zealand because everybody always forgets New Zealand, but yeah,
Yeah. By the way, maybe we know how the dinosaurs were had the mass extinction event. Maybe that's how we know
paint,
now. Maybe it was an
yeah,
early Sherwin-Williams paint event that we just haven't figured out yet.
it might be
I mean, I've looked at like canyons, and there is like a layer of almost like red rock in some of the.
that. That's true. That could
Okay,
explain a lot of that.
right. So ecological, it's bad. It's bad. What about the color choice? Frankly, like, are we like who goes to Sherwin-Williams for paint and says, "Yes, I'd like the paint that's the equivalent of a stop sign."
Right, just bright, not bright red, just red, like
Plainest
Soviet
red.
Union communist red. Yeah.
Now we're talking. So,
Hmm.
okay, Derek, you have really stepped in it now. What is red that would love to cover the earth with their radical socialist ideology?
Right. I mean, this is the communist program of the 19th or 20th century.
Yeah, and now
This is
21st because this
yeah,
logo is just sitting there on streets and paint cans everywhere. Exactly like so world domination, and which brings us back to an interesting thing you brought up a minute ago. One might think that the can, which has the letters SWP, might be Sherwin-Williams paint, but not for those people that see beyond the obvious, like you and I, the critical thinkers.
right.
So what are you seeing in that?
I mean, it's pretty obvious to me that's Socialist Workers Party,
There
right?
we go.
Covering the earth red.
There we go. And so, everybody, when you're throwing your fit about your pretty poor food serving frozen chicken fried steak, tchotchkes at the checkout logo, remember that's what they want you to do. They don't want us to know
Yeah.
about this nefarious logo. By the way, before we get too far, dear Sherwin-Williams Legal Department, for the record and on this recording, this is parody slash irony slash sarcasm slash freedom of speech hashtag. We're just kidding. We don't think you're an arm of the Chicoms or the Soviet Union.
Your product's great. We've used it.
And
Again, not a
just
sponsor. Probably not going to be now, but
Spindrift, yes, probably Sherwin-Williams.
Spinner's probably our last.
By the way, I do have Sherwin-Williams product in my garage right now. That
Yeah.
is fantastic. They can
Yeah.
blend you up a matte stain like nobody's business. And yes, I am officially sucking up now because we accuse
Yeah.
them of being a plant organization.
It's also always the good paint you use on it. Like, use the cheaper store brand paint for the bulk. And then, this wall has got to be a really good color. That's got to be sure.
And then just pour it on. Just open the lid and just like
Just
pour
flat,
it down the wall.
Mhm.
Okay.
takes 7 weeks to dry.
Well, I'm glad we have uncovered, you know what the world needs right now? More conspiracy theories. That's there's like,
Mhm.
what happened to the good old practice of having conspiracy theories? So happy to help everybody. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we'll come back right after this break and get into the main segment about the fundamentalism of zero trust and how it's driving me crazy. All right, be right back. Thanks, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome back to the last IT podcast in the world. And we're going to talk about this concept in IT, specifically cybersecurity, called zero trust. And we're not going to explain zero trust in full detail, but I'm going to explain to you how some IT practitioners and cybersecurity folk, I think, have really not thought deeply about what they've taken it hook, line, and sinker, and then not thought 1 minute more about it, and why I think that's a problem and how we should be kind of nuanced in how we approach some of these things. So, and we're going to apply it to Darrick's garage here in a minute. We're going to apply zero trust to Darrick's garage here in a minute. But let me explain a little bit what zero trust is. So zero trust is a buzzword. It has been around for several years, and a lot of people, the minute it became a buzzword, of course, all the vendors touted that they're zero trust. Let me tell you, there's like 4 quick things that I'll cover, and we'll just focus on one. Here are the core concepts of zero trust. Number 1, assume breach. By breach, they mean assume that every attempt to log on or access your company's resources is malicious all the time. No stops, according to the fundamentalists. Assume it's bad. Assume every login attempt, no matter what, is bad. Okay. Then the second framework is verify explicitly. That means, get some more details about the person signing in or their machine or whatever. Number 3, which is a good one, least privilege access. That means don't over credential people and give them more access than they need to do advanced administrative things or whatever. Give them the permissions they need, no more. Pretty common sense. Microsegmentation is the third one. It's a networking concept where your network should be divided into segments so that if your network either crashes or gets invaded, you've got it kind of walled off. Makes sense. And then finally, continuous monitoring. Of course, yeah, you should always continuously monitor your environment. Okay, so um, let me tell you how this came up. So um, I was on LinkedIn the other day, and some well-meaning but fundamentalist. I'm going to use the word fundamentalism a little bit here. So let me take a detour. I'm not talking about religious fundamentalism. I'm talking about so let me tell you an HR fundamentalism story really quick. A fundamentalist is someone that thinks in black and white. Their favorite words are always and never.
Mhm.
And they're not really good at like a little bit deeper nuance thinking about, well, what if, what about that? And they're just like simple. It needs to be simple.
Right.
So one time I had an HR event where I was trying to hire an employee, and that future potential employee failed a drug test. And HR called and said, we're not going to hire him. They failed the drug test. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because many of us knew this person. We had hired them from another company to come to our company. We knew them very, very well and knew that they didn't really have meth in their system. And the HR person had no alternate resolution for if someone fails a test, which at a
That's just the
minimum,
end of the story.
it's like one test failed to, and clearly taking another test, maybe at another lab, would have been a good thing. But the
Mhm.
fundamentalists, so they're fundamentalists in every department.
Yeah.
Um, but those are other people's people. So this person posted. So let me explain. When you're logging on to access a company's servers or email or resources, you can run those sign-in attempts through some checks and make sure it's valid and things like that. And there's a concept Microsoft has called trusted locations. A trusted location is essentially the public IP address of your company's main office, your company's main factory. And basically it says like, if the signal is coming from within our building, I'm not too worried about that because hacks tend to come from exterior. Like when I say tend to, it's easier to just say always. It's a simpler
Always.
it's a simpler shorthand to say always. The hack is not coming from within the building. Things like employees stealing your data or downloading data or whatever,
Mhm.
taking it with them.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's a different scenario. We're just talking about logging on. Anyway, said like never set up trusted locations, these trusted locations that allow you to say, look, okay, sign in. Is it from a trusted location? Fine, let them in. Like they've got password and all
Mhm.
the right credentials. Yeah, don't throw any extra other hurdles at them like MFA. But in America, many, many employees are driving into their location, walking in the door, logging on their laptop, and getting an MFA prompt on their phone. And when they come back from lunch, they're getting another one. And when
Mm-hmm.
they try to access a new thing, they're getting another one because of the weenies. Whoopsie. I don't mean to
Oh.
be, because of the fundamentalists that think I'm always going to assume breach
Mm-hmm.
without any nuance thinking. Is the breach really going to come from within your own building? It
Mm-hmm.
isn't. For sign-in events, I want to be very careful.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you can get malware installed on your servers. Totally get it. That's
We
a
don't have a
different.
bunch of anonymous, no login assets that are accessible just because you can badge into the building. But,
Yeah. And if malware gets on your servers or ransomware, that's a
mm-hmm.
different line of defense than sign in. That's a endpoint protection or whatever. It's a different, you've got layers of defense. I'm just talking about the sign in
Right.
event, login.
Right.
So that's where this, anyway, he was like, with all the red X's in LinkedIn, never, ever, ever, ever use trusted locations because it's not zero trust. And I'm like, Microsoft is a zero trust vendor. They allow trusted locations.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. So I'm fine with trusted locations, setting them up, not throwing hurdles at people. Okay. But a fundamentalist just says zero trust, always assume breach. I'm not going to think any more about it.
Right.
Okay. So at times like this, Darrick, I find it useful to pull the concept out of the tech world and put it into our real everyday lives world. And I was going to have you zero trust your house, but that's too much. Like, what if your house was assume breach all the time? We're just going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about your garage. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to zero trust, assume breach your garage. Okay.
Okay.
And see if it makes rational sense for us. And if anyone would ever live life this way. Okay. So
Okay.
you've got entrances and exits to your garage, I presume. Please describe them
Yeah.
to the
I've
folk.
got two garage doors and two human doors, one to the house, one to the backyard.
Yeah. Now, I'm just in the truth of podcasting. Darrick doesn't have an actual door to his backyard,
Mm-hmm.
but I need him to have one for this
And
scenario.
I used to.
He used to. He knows what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
that's
So
typical. You've got like
yeah.
two big, like drive your car into
Yeah.
garage spaces. You've got a door
Yep.
that lets humans into the house, and you've got a door that lets humans in and out of the backyard.
Right.
All right,
And
let's
humans and
let's
lawnmowers
work through it.
backyard.
So we're going to assume breach, like the fundamentalists do, on all the events that happen in your garage. Okay, so a car pulls up to your garage door, Darrick, and
Yep.
I
Press
assume
it.
you have a remote garage
Yep.
door opener. What should happen in a assume breach scenario when a person tries to open the garage door?
Probably should keep it locked and require some other form of, maybe we have the garage door with a button. Maybe we need a passcode.
Hmm.
I think some sort of multi-factor authentication. I don't know.
What if they call you? What if, like, when they press the garage door doesn't go up, and they have to call in to you in the
Mm.
house? You're always in that house apparently,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
and
that far
and
from
then
me.
you'll flip a switch that determines whether to let them in. You verify.
Or, we've got the deadbolts on the garage door. Maybe we could do that. We could go, have the garage door physically deadbolted. And if
Yeah.
we get a call, we'll go open it up for a short time.
Can I let's go full tilt fundamentalism here. I would yank out the remote control from being open to your garage door.
Yeah. There's no passcodes on them. There's
Yeah.
just a
I
device that
think
can float around.
so. Your wife, she's going to love, I mean, sorry, no, your personal image consultant. She's
Mm-hmm.
going to love this. She pulls up. There's no way of remotely opening the door because we assume breach. We don't
Right.
care if that's our beloved. Like, how do I know? So she has to get out. Maybe there's now like a camera. She has to press like a Ring doorbell and say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, honey, it's me."
Right.
And you look at her face, and yep, you know her face, and you say, "Okay," like in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
let them up to that. That would be a good zero
Yeah.
trust.
Still only one factor. We still, someone could impersonate. I mean, you can't be too sure, right? So you might want to have a passcode or a, passphrase
A
for her
safe
to
word,
say. I'm like,
a safe
yeah.
word, a secret word, a secret passphrase. Yeah, fair. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, don't, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this, Darrick. I'm as dead serious as can be. The zero trust zealot / fundamentalist would want that passcode to change every day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Because she could write it down.
you can't be
Someone,
too safe, right?
and you can't be assume breach every time, right? Okay. So now we let your personal image consultant finally, through a lot of rigmarole, in to the garage, just the
Mm-hmm.
garage.
Right.
What should we
We just
do? what should we do if that human wants to come through the door, like where all of your beloved possessions and
Hmm.
children are?
Yeah, you got to have that door locked, but and the back door's got to be locked because if you breach that, then you can get into the back door of the house, which could be
Yeah.
unlocked. So
I think you got to
yeah,
verify her all over again. I think you got to
yeah,
verify.
same process.
We're-
Camera.
Yep. So it's really two levels. Like in the garage is one level of risk. They could maybe take your tools or
Mhm.
maybe cause some damage or do some
Vehicle cause property
vandalism.
damage.
Yep.
Yeah,
But in the
clean it.
house, I mean, that's another layer. So I think you got to verify them again through all the same rigmarole. And that door, you make a really important, that door must always remain locked.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't just have that floating open and lose that level of security.
In fact, it ought to have those hinges with the springs in them so it always auto closes and auto locks.
Hmm. Yep.
And the same for your other door that goes into your backyard, the mythical one that you've had before but
Yes.
don't have now. Like the
Yeah.
back door, that one's got to A, lock every time,
Hmm.
and B, auto close.
Yep. Lock, auto close, camera access, maybe a
Yeah.
key. Yep.
So when your personal image consultant goes out to garden or whatever it is that she might do in the backyard,
Hmm.
it's go out the door, have it lock and close, and have to verify, assume breach, everyone, before she comes back in the garage. Verify again before she comes in the house. And then every time she leaves, same thing. Like no propping the door
Yeah.
open.
And you might say that's slow and that waste of time and makes life inconvenient, but you can't be too careful.
You can't be too careful. This is a really good sort of buzzword of the fundamentalists in the cybersecurity world. It's like, well, people don't like the hassle, but at least we're safe. And
Hmm.
I'm not going to go into it now. There's literally all kinds of research that says the more barriers you put up for people, it does not make you safer.
Hmm.
Just like complex passwords didn't make people safer
Right.
because they wrote them down.
Right.
Right. So we have essentially made life a living hell on earth for yourself, for your personal image consultant, for your children who just want to go about in the backyard and play, for you who wants to get out, the 10 millimeter box end wrench because you're tweaking something in the house. And like every time you go in and out, we're going to throw, a
Obstacles
questionnaire
up.
and some
Yeah.
obstacles at you. And this sounds goofy. It's intended to sound goofy. This is exactly what the people who read Zero Trust and didn't think critically about it do to
Hmm.
their companies every single day.
Yep.
Um,
It's
and
it's unfortunate that you can't quantify. I mean, you probably could, but no effort is made to quantify the cost because you know the cost. It's easy for the zero trust fundamentalists to quantify the cost of a breach, right? You can look at like healthcare and hit the cost of a HIPAA violation and the fines and the potential cost of a breach, and they're enormous. But especially in a larger organization, you you waste half an hour of your employees' time every day times however many employees that is, it's a huge loss. So
yeah,
is that balanced against everything? But it's not zero cost.
it isn't. And, you know, there's another side effect that they talk about, which is MFA snow blindness, which is you get so many prompts on your phone to a
Mm,
code to let yourself in.
yeah.
I'll tell you what you really want. You want an I swear on a stack, this is what I believe. You want an MFA prompt 2 to 3 times a year, like a
Yeah.
legitimate one,
Yeah.
because you want it to be such an event that it grabs your attention and you
Hmm.
stop and you think, am I trying to log in? Is this
Yep.
me or is this not me? But if you get them like this every day,
Hmm.
the bad guys sounds
I
just
have
like
to
you.
confirm about 6 a day.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And I know people who work in a corporate setting who have to do once when they log in, once when they VPN. I don't know why they're VPN from their location, but they are. Um, I'm sure it's 3 or 4 times a day. And I
Yeah.
want to hear people like David Wheat at AltCIO Consulting, especially if you're on the Microsoft cloud. I can engineer your world to be as secure as all that hassle, and you will get 1 to 3 MFA prompts a year maximum, and
Mhm.
maybe zero because of a lot of stuff I don't have enough time to talk about that we engineer on the back end. enough evaluation of, what device is this? Where are they? What was their sign-in patterns? Is it match their sign-in patterns? We leverage a lot of the Microsoft Cloud to let the machine language, aka AI, determine if this is an out of pattern or an out of band sign-in attempt. And we trust certain things, which again, zero trust. How can you have trusted locations by Microsoft and zero
Zero
trust? And
trust.
the answer is you actually can, because you're not a fundamentalist and you understand where the threats are coming from and where they're not coming from, and the cost of wasting people's time and the cost of making them snowblind to an MFA prompt when you want it to be an event. When a person gets an MFA prompt, you want them to sit up, pay attention, and think about what's happening.
Yep. Well, I think if you remember when MFA first came out, or pseudo MFA, I remember like where it was a rare event, and I did get one or two of those prompts, like a social media account. Like I had not tried to log into it, and I got an alert, and it was like, it grabs your attention, right? Someone's trying to get into my account, and it prompts you to do things like change your password and
Yep.
validate that nothing's there that isn't supposed to be. So I think that's the intended behavior. And when you're just constantly approving requests, you don't have that reaction.
Yeah, totally. Let's wrap up with this. So zero trust, especially this one called assume breach, every access is a threat, and we should be afraid of every login attempt. Just as it doesn't work in the garage scenario. And I don't think we were exaggerating there. I think that's exactly how some people design their zero trust login processes, just like it doesn't work there and it's a hassle. If we did go into your house, I always joke if cybersecurity were your housing security, they'd say, these windows, someone just throw a rock through there, they're right in your house. We got to brick
Right.
those up, right? Let's brick up those windows.
Yep.
And we take these trade-offs with our security and with our quality of life.
Right.
And
And I think that's such an important thing of, like, one of my favorite economists, Thomas Sowell, says there's no solutions, only trade-offs. And there's
yeah,
always trade-offs in life, and we can make it better, but there's always a cost. Now, like, and the location is such a great example of, I have 10,000 trusted people that I've vetted, that have badged into a building, that I have physically secure, so I've got lots of layers where I feel safer here. And I have lots of people that I do trust, that I'm wasting their time and making their life worse. That does go on the scale against whatever you're trying to do with your zero trust setup. So
yeah. And this is why IT has a bad reputation, because they make people's lives harder when they should be leveraging the technology they own to make their lives easier while not trading off security. And trust me, it's possible.
yeah.
Anyway, terrific. Okay, thank you for that. You can have your garage back, by the way. You can rip out all the stuff we put in to make it zero
Thank you.
trust, because it's going to be awful. Okay, let's switch to what'd you learn today. What'd you learn today, Darrick?
Honestly, the trusted locations was new to me from this kind of pre-talk we did. So I think that's an amazing feature, and didn't know that was a feature that Microsoft had built and supported. And
Yeah.
so that was great.
I learned that Spindrift is our preferred drink of the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I did learn that you and I both are not big LaCroix fans. In the bubbly, moderately flavorless water market, we're
Yeah.
both not LaCroix fans because of lack of flavor. And for me, too much bubbles. Also, that you recently got to experience Chavez Ravine and smartly got the most obscure Dodgers hat you could, so that you can walk around
Yeah.
without like telegraphing that you're a Dodgers
Short
fan.
of a Brooklyn bee, this is as close as we could do.
Terrific. Yeah, exactly. The old Brooklyn
Yeah.
Dodgers. Good for you.
This,
All right.
yeah.
Hey, a pleasure as always. A nice tight episode. We had some fun with the logo. Remember, Sherwin-Williams, we were just kidding about the logo. We don't think
Really do like your product.
we don't think you're a communist plot, but it was kind of fun. I think you'll agree. Hopefully. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for joining the podcast today. And Darrick, I will see you again in a future episode of the Last IT Podcast in the World. Now say bye.
Bye.
No.